Warning. This podcast is about to open the sealed section of spirituality. Hey you, yeah you, we see you, you divine human being.
And we are calling you to come home.
We are ready to talk about the real shit. We're going to get real about life as a divine human being.
The good, the not so great, spirituality and taboo. Divinely Human is the podcast that's all about what it means to be human in a spiritual context.
We know it's not just about being spiritual, it's about being human too.
And that means changing poopy nappies and channeling angels.
Sometimes even at the same time. It's time for us to stop making other people's noise our own soundtrack of life.
Let's make some waves together so that we can all ride them together and create deep resonance, a sense of home in this crazy world.
Pour yourself a coffee
or a glass of wine if that's your potion,
and sit down with your new favorite spiritual sisters
as we go on a journey together into what it means to be
a divine human being
on this spiritual journey.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Divinely Human podcast. I am Tanita.
And I'm Aleisha.
And we're so grateful to have you back. Last week, we had a really kind of vulnerable chat, right? Like we really let you into what was going on for us behind the scenes. And it felt really good, to be honest. Like Aleisha and I, like we chat like that all day, every day, just about like, and so it was really nice to kind of lift the veil, I guess, and chat. And what I found afterwards was that if we are experiencing something, I am more than certain other people are experiencing it, especially people in our community. So I think today we're just going to see where this conversation takes us.
Yeah, and that was really fun as well. Just removing the pressure and just seeing what wanted to come through, but also just chatting like what last week's episode title was, it's a chat between two sisters, like behind the scenes. Yeah. And I really enjoyed it so much. But I would like to start on a note.
Ooh, okay.
And I would like to discuss your hair because we've had a change.
We've had a very big change.
We need to have a conversation about it.
Surprise.
If anyone can see or is watching this on YouTube or on Spotify, you will probably notice that Tanita has gone through a big change and she has a beautiful copper colored hair as opposed to her blonde hair that she usually has. So I want to deep dive into this a little bit. I feel like there's some stuff that I want to I just want to know.
Yes.
How did this happen?
I had a feeling we were talking about this today, but honestly, I feel so good. And this is so weird. Like this is coming from little old Tanita just a couple of months ago who like could barely look at herself in the mirror. Like I can't tell you how much of a confidence boost this has given me. And it's just reiterated the fact that it is so incredibly important to look after the vessel that we're in. And it's really anchored down my mission here on earth, because I've had this inkling throughout that, I'm meant to be working with humans who know they're more than humans. And I've tried working with just the spiritual, just the esoteric, like really traveling up into the mystical. And it's always felt like there was something missing, even though it feels so wholesome. And so what's really interesting is when I got my hair dyed, it was just that extra confirmation that I needed to remind me that we are here being a human for a reason, and that my work is with helping starseeds and light workers actually feel so good about this human experience, even down to the little things like hair color, like the things in their environment. And I really, 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 really overlooked just how important and integral that is for our overall health and well-being. And yeah, I don't know, like it was such a spur of the moment thing as well. I've dyed my hair like bright red when I was in high school and I didn't really like it. And I don't know what drew me to doing this. I was just like, I just got there, I sat in the chair and I was like, let's just dye my hair copper. And she was like, okay. And then we did it and I was like, what the fuck? I love this.
I love it. I think that it looks great.
Thank you.
And color aside, just the way that you have been showing up lately too has really been what I imagine, like that feisty, like I'm here to be like seen and heard and ask what I want and all of that. I feel like that comes with the embodiment that you feel from going through a radical change like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, it's a big thing, and it goes way beyond the visual or the physical. And I think that we can kind of get sidetracked in the spiritual community a little bit, where everyone's constantly hammering in that idea of, oh, it's just hair, or it's just clothes, or it's just this, or it's just that. That doesn't matter because we're not our body, we're a soul, blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, how we feel, whether that's physically, whether that's like externally somehow, really does impact our energy. And no one, regardless of what they think or what they say, can take that fact away from the matter. It affects how we feel and it affects our frequency. And even, going and like I've been doing a lot of work the last few months around releasing my guilt from shopping, like retail. And I'm like, oh my God, this is not spiritual at all. Like I shouldn't, worry if I have like, a new wardrobe or if I buy myself nice things, because that doesn't matter. But actually, it does matter to me. It's something that makes me feel good and it makes me feel empowered to some degree as well. So I've been releasing that guilt around that and actually enjoying it for the first time in my life. So I feel like that really kind of goes line in line with, going through that radical change of going like, I'm actually going to change how I look and how I feel about that and step into like this different version of me. I think it's so beautiful.
Yeah. I had no idea you were releasing all of that too. I think
Mm.
that's incredible. And I want to
I'm a
share a download.
shopaholic.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. It's like right on the verge, right? No, I want to share this download that came through to me because my experience with like wealthy people has always been everybody else around me saying like, oh, that's like what the purchases that they make, that's like overcompensating for something or that's like not necessary. And there's been a lot of comments around just the absurdity of like wanting nice things and being a wealthy woman and having luxurious items. And I was driving yesterday and I was like, why is that even true? Like, why are we so judgmental of people who want nice things, who want to look good, who enjoy all of that? And then what came through was so fucking beautiful. It was like, mysticism, the whole kind of idealism behind that is that you are to become one with the creator, God, the universe, source, whatever. And you're meant to really embody that. But my view is that, Mama Gaia, she is her own God in herself. She is her own energy source. And then we have the divine masculine source. And my belief is that we come into this vessel, down into this energy to bring both of them together and weave a new path of existence that intermingles both of those energy sources. And if you think about what Mama Gaia represents, she literally is the representation of abundance and wealth, prosperity, growth, harmony, like all of these beautiful
Yeah.
things. So why on earth do we believe that we're not worthy of experiencing that too, just on a different level? Like we have all of these beautiful tools and materials to work with. It's not being materialistic. It's about being able to express abundance in a new way. And I think attachment's like a whole nother story, but that came through and it was just like such a breath of fresh air. Like I'm not feeling guilty for wanting nice things anymore. I'm on the same page as you.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. And I love what you said there because while you were saying that, I was like, yes, we're here to experience that beautiful physical aspect of life as well. We're not just a soul, not this lifetime, not in this reality. We obviously in others we haven't been, but this time round we are. And when you were speaking about Mama Gaia, all I could think of was like unity. And I'm like, yes, like blending that beautiful spiritual side with that physical side. And yeah, when it comes to that physical reality, all of these things that we deem to be materialistic, they're just a part of it.
Yeah.
And to disclude that and reject it constantly, and then also beat yourself up every time you do feel that draw towards stepping into giving any of that sort of attention or energy, is to disclude the human experience to some extent as well.
Yeah.
So I think it's a beautiful realization when you can kind of step back and say, I can actually have it all. I'm actually worthy of having it all. And just for wanting or desiring luxurious items or things, or, you know, your body to look a certain way, that's not that there's no label that comes with that. You know, that's just part of the human experience. That's so beautiful. That's so beautiful.
Right?
Yeah.
I feel the same thing. And I think that the more we heal our lineage, the more that we work with our ancestors, the more that we realize just how stunted our desires have been as women in this world. Like, if you think about men who have been in charge of their own money and their own bank accounts and being able to work and live their life with a very like much more extended ability of freedom in their life. You think about women, we weren't even able to think that we could step outside the boundary that we were placed in, right? So I think it's almost for me a way of showing my ancestors that it's okay to have these desires and actually go out and, you know, like manifest it into reality. And it's been such a healing experience. And you're so right. Like it's unity, it's wholesome, it's a way of not neglecting the reality too, because something that spirituality constantly does is neglect the human experience, the depth of it, and it's so fucking frustrating. It really is.
Yeah. And in a way, I feel like stepping into that and allowing yourself to enjoy these things is also taking ownership, or not taking ownership, but expressing your own sovereignty as well, in a sense. Because you're choosing what you want to do. You're not being guided by anyone who says, oh, you're not spiritual if you do this, or you're not spiritual if you do that. You're guided by your own heart and what you're feeling drawn to do. And you're allowing yourself to express yourself through that. And just you're kind of following your desires in a sense.
Yeah.
And I see it all the time, constantly in the spiritual community, especially surrounding self care as well. That's constantly popping up. I see so many people post about, you know, people that go and do things to their body, or they're like, oh, you mustn't be very spiritual if you go get like Botox or something, or, you know, or if you go and, you know, get your eyelashes done, or care too much about what you look like. Like, yeah, of course, there's an opposite, there's a the polarity to everything, you know, there's a deep end to everything. But allowing yourself to just desire things and let your heart follow that. And you're allowing yourself to still care about how you feel and how you look. Like, that's not an unhealthy thing. And I think it gets really misconstrued in this community a lot. Um, but none of that defines, well, I personally don't think any of that defines, you know, how spiritual or connected you are. Like, that's just so ridiculous to even have to say that.
I know. But it's true, right? Like we do have to say that because it's been years and years and years of having people placed in our like on our televisions that do represent this really unhealthy attachment to the way that they look and their money and all of that, and especially women. So it's hard, but we do have to say it, I feel, because exactly like what you said, there's a polarity to everything. And being aware of your looks and how you feel and the way that you physically show up in this world doesn't actually represent who you are, but it does interact with your energy and your vitality. And I believe that if you decide that you want to look and feel good, that is totally like up to you, right? It's up to nobody. And I think for a long time, my fear has always been, well, am I still going to come across as spiritual? Am I still going to be seen as, somebody who can make these connections to, beautiful realms? And that's
Yeah.
been the story of my life for a long time, especially working in the finance industry. And I think this has just given me a massive permission slip to be like, nobody actually gets to decide who I am except for me. And it's up to me whether or not I want to explain that to others, but it's not my problem what other people think of me. And I'm just stepping into that and it's feeling really good.
My goodness, that sounds so empowering. I feel like realizing that and moving through that, it opens up so many more doors that you were also like, that were attached to having the fear of that, you know? So not just swinging open one door of not giving a shit, but it's also swinging open a whole hallway of doors for you to explore now, because there's so much attached to that, emotionally, energetically. Oh, I'm interested to know how you feel after the new moon as well.
You know what?
Mhm.
Something crazy happened. I have only written a couple of things for a couple of new moons, meaning like I've only done rituals where I've written in my journal and actually kept the pieces of paper. And I was cleaning out my office and a new moon in Virgo journal like input fell out. And I was like, what the actual heck? It's wild. So it was from like a year ago, and I was reading it and I was like, I actually got a little bit like sad because what I wrote in there, I hadn't fully stepped into yet. And it was a beautiful moment to reflect and be like, there is so much, so much abundance and so many great things that happen when you declare something to the universe, but you are a human. You are in charge of your life. You do have sovereignty. You do have free will, and it's not enough to declare it. And what I noticed from reading what I wanted to declare was that I didn't actually make any moves after that, right? I was just like, universe, here's what I want. Hand it to me on a silver platter. Thank you very much. And this 12 months has gone by, and I haven't delivered on that myself. And it was a really great reflection to be like, you know what? It's what great working in like collaboration with the universe, but it's time to take a little bit of charge and a little bit of leadership in my own life. How are you feeling though? I'm curious.
I love that. You do need to take aligned action, because I am the biggest culprit of that. Well, I'm getting better, but I used to do that all the damn time. Like, I'm bringing in this, I'm bringing in that, I'm bringing in this. And like months down the track, I'm like, oh, well, that didn't work. And I'm like, well, actually, Aleisha, you didn't actually take aligned action. And that's what needs to happen. You can't just sit around.
Yeah, exactly. And you're like, duh. But sometimes it's really important to just like see that actually play out. I'm like,
Yeah.
so yeah. And it was just, yeah, a good moment of reminding myself that it's time to take aligned action.
That's such a Virgo reminder as well. Like, that's honestly something that I would say to somebody if they were like, oh, things aren't working. Like, if you come to a Virgo and you tell them that, they're going to say, okay, well, what are you doing to make it happen? Get up with, like, are you actually doing anything?
Yeah.
It's just really funny. But I never take my own advice because Virgo. But I feel that. I really do. Oh, I feel good. I feel good after the new moon. I do feel quite tired. I feel like even myself, I'm struggling to keep up with this Virgo energy at the moment. I mean, I'm right. I'm a Virgo Libra.
Love that.
Like right on the cusp there. So I don't align with that generic. And I feel like every sign's like that. Like everyone has this generic thing of like what that sign is. But honestly, when people describe Virgo, I'm like, that's not me. I am not organized. I'm not neat and tidy. My life is completely unstructured and is a living chaos. So, but when this energy hits us of Virgo season, I always get a little bit, I get really inspired and motivated, and I have that energy, but it's just the organizing it in my mind that I'm like, okay, oh God, it's the organization bit. How
Yeah.
do we do this again? So that's kind of what I'm moving through at the moment. I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed about how to like physically move forward to where I want to be and structure things. I did wake up this morning though and write a Monday checklist. I've got everything listed down in front of me of what I need to complete today. So that is a start, and I'm proud of myself for doing at least that.
Yay.
Because my days have been completely unstructured the last few months, and I'm feeling really all over the shop. Like I don't have a grip on what I'm actually here to do. It got to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm not working. I need to reorganize my life before I can open up my offerings again. And then, of course, I wanted to redo my offerings because Virgo season, let's just set fire to everything and start again. And now I'm like, okay.
Dude, I so feel you with this, but like you gotta cut yourself some slack because your intention was to take time off to reorganize,
It
right?
was, yeah.
You have to start somewhere.
Mm.
A checklist is a great bloody place to start.
I've written one list. Yay!
I love that. And yeah, I think we're both in that. Like since doing that masterclass together, we both like wanted to set fire to our offerings. And I'm feeling the same way. I'm like, God, I now have a grip on what I want to bring through, but it's like, where do I start? And then you just get so overwhelmed with that you actually don't do anything. It's like
Yes.
such an eye roll.
Funnily enough, I've gone through and made up like all of the pretty graphics for the
Oh, of
offer.
course.
Like I know what it's called, and I know what it like the graphic that I use to advertise it looks like,
Yeah.
but just the actual offering, like that's just fucking hilarious, really. But that's just how I roll.
You've got to start somewhere.
It's like
I
all the
mean,
pretty things is done, that's finished.
of course. I mean, it's a good way to like feel into the energy. I think even when we did that 3-day thing, that's kind of where we started to was like the aesthetics part of it. And you know what? Like, even reflecting on things that we've done in the past, it makes so much sense that we are so in tune with the human experience, right? Like, of course, we want to focus on what things look like and how things are represented. But um, something that we were talking about the other day that I want to like share with everybody was the fact that we have been, we've been so good without pointing out all of the things that need improvement in this space.
Mm.
And Aleisha lovingly came to me and was like, girl, we pick up on all of the things that need to be changed, but we're not doing anything about it. And I want to bring everybody into this because I think it's really important to recognize where you can actually implement change. And this is something that we are doing together that I'm really excited about. And I just think it's important to talk about this because I feel so many people in this Virgo season are going to be like wanting to restructure, wanting to reorganize, looking at where things are, out of alignment, out of kind of all of those beautiful Virgo attributes. And so maybe we can talk about like what we want to bring through into this space and hopefully that inspires others. What do you reckon?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
We must start somewhere, right?
I've been thinking about this for ages, and it's so funny because we did. If anyone who's listening has followed us for a while, you would know that we brought out our 3-day boot camp for business owners, soul-led business owners, to step into their business in a more wholesome way, to bring through that authenticity that they've been chasing for forever, but just can't seem to find that energy and that magnetism in their space. But and then we organized a whole container to happen afterwards, but something was not quite right energetically, and I don't even know if we know what that was.
Yeah, I don't know. It just wasn't right,
Or maybe it wasn't the right time. I'm not sure what it was. Or maybe the people that this is meant for maybe weren't following us, or like maybe weren't ready to step into this, and maybe they are now, and that's why that's come up for us to like want to share this. But really excited. We're going to be bringing through we both wanted it to be really chilled out, relaxed, flowy, not like this structured thing, but this beautiful, more or less, relationship that we want to build with people in a mentorship kind of way, through just guiding, and helping and being of support to business owners in anything that they're moving through in their business.
Yeah, I'm really excited. It's going to be a space where you get to share what you are noticing in the community, and also get some reflection on how you're going to step up in your mission and in your purpose, and actually bring through all that you want to bring through. And we've noticed just in our own relationship how freaking supportive it's been to just have another sister there with you to say, this is what's coming up for me in my business. I just need to be seen right now. And I just need to create space within both of our energies to allow anything to come up. And I've personally noticed such a shift in momentum around working through the shadow that comes up in the business. Because the truth is, if you are an intuitive entrepreneur, if you're somebody who owns a soulful business, if you're holding space for another person, and you are at the helm of your business, shadow is a part of it. Shadow is something that comes up, and it can be really tricky for people to work through that alone. And so, if you are somebody who wants to be able to really step into all that you could possibly manifest in this life through your business, this is a space to be seen and held and supported with the group of other sisters in the space. And we really want to create this space to like dismantle that competition over collaboration, any sisterhood wounds, witch wounds, like fear of being seen. Like, we are doing it all in this space together as a community. And I'm really excited because we we also like want to create this just for ourselves, right? So it'll be really awesome to bring everybody else into it, I feel.
Yeah, well, that's kind of how it came up. I feel like we should tell everyone how it came up, because we came to this, we kept on, obviously we're very close, and we speak about both of our businesses on a very personal level with each other, because we have that level of trust with one another where we both know that we can trust each other with those intricate and like fragile details. And obviously as well, like all of the beautiful ideas that we have. Like, I know that Tanita isn't going to run away and put out the exact same thing that I just told her about, or, like go and jump on stories and talk about like what I'm doing with the world. There's that beautiful trust. And we both thought, it was like this synchronous thought at the same time.
We
were like,
legit sent the same message at the same time. We should find those screenshots. That's so funny.
We should. We were like, how about we get together monthly and just spitball ideas that we're having for our own businesses off each other, just to get feedback off one another, because having fresh eyes on an idea is so important, because it can be really confusing just when you're in it alone, thinking, is that a good idea, or is that not a good idea, or does that make sense, or is that a little bit does it need more work or whatever, having someone that you trust to share those ideas with and to get like feedback that is someone that's not just going to say, oh no, that's so great, and secretly doesn't want you to do well. Like I know that you want me to do well, and I know that I want you to do well as well. And having that safe space, we both thought, holy fuck, this is what this place does not have, because we're constantly looking over our shoulder at like who's stolen our work, or who's going to go bring out the same offering, or like blah, 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 blah. Like, but then we have no one to share it with because of the sisterhood wound and losing trust in our sisters, and a beautiful safe space to share. So I'm really excited about this.
Yeah, me too. And what just came through as you were saying that? It's like when you put out an offering to your community, which involves other creators in the space, if you're putting out an offering with that energy of like looking over your shoulder and hoping and praying that nobody else is going to take it from you, like that's what you're bringing into that offer, right? And what a beautiful place of sovereignty to just be able to announce your offer to your community with complete trust that it's going to flourish without anybody like putting energy to it or evil eyes or anything like that. It's like this is such a beautiful way of just like releasing that lack of trust in the community. And like it happens over time, right? So we know that trust isn't something that's built overnight. Like we've known each other for like over a year now, and we've really put a lot of time and effort into our relationship. So we are creating something that's going to be like a continuing evolving container, something that you can get in touch with most of the time, and a meetup that happens regularly, and a space where you can not only like be seen but also support other people in there as well, because we heal this together, and we are the creators of this space. And if we want to see change, if we want to see people coming up with original offers that are actually going to impact clients on a really beautiful, wholesome, deep level, then we need to do that, right? So I think it's also a responsibility that we all have to see this space uprise and really release all of those negative attachments that the spiritual community has. Yeah,
Mm.
I'm excited.
Me too. I'm excited to see some change and some flavor in this space as well, because when women get together and create together and bounce ideas off each other, it can be so magical. It is like that's where magic is made, honestly. So thinking about what this is going to be like, I am so damn excited. I cannot wait. And it will be something that is accessible you know, to everyone. We wanted to make it a little bit different than signing up for like this massive once-off container that costs $1 million. We wanted it to be this continuous support that people can, tap into when they feel they need it in their business, and it not impede on your own goals and what you're wanting to do. And literally, yeah, we didn't want it to be a negative experience, but we thought, wow, we're actually not going to change the space unless we actually step into it instead of just talking about it. So it's really exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited. And maybe we'll create like a little link that has a wait list. If you guys want to be notified of when any more details on this releases, you can just head to the link in the description, and we'll be sending out email notifications. So make sure to watch out for your emails just around any movements in when this is opening up, when this is starting. We are incredibly intuitive, and we are really connected to the feminine energy in both of our businesses. So we never want to push and shove something when it's not right. And that's why, even if we say we're going to start a container like we did with the 3-day boot camp, if it's not right, we're not going to do it, because we want to be at our most aligned energetic frequency to hold that space and hold that container. So catching up on the emails and joining the waitlist this would be a really great way of just staying in, like, in what's that word? Like
Loop.
connection. Yeah, staying in the loop. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, in the loop. I feel like we need to, yeah, because it's not going to be something that we're like going to push if it's not feeling energetically right. So we're still kind of just connecting some things in there and seeing how best to provide this in a way that's going to be amazing for everybody. And I'm really excited about that.
Me too. And also, if anybody has any platforms that they're really loving, like membership wise, would love to hear, because we are currently deep diving into research behind membership platforms. And so far, we haven't found the perfect one. Maybe this is something we will talk about, like in our actual container, like which platform might be better, since we've done all this freaking research.
Yeah.
I just love any ideas around membership platforms too from anybody.
Yeah, that would be very helpful. I'm excited to see how this impacts people. I feel like I've seen so many people like constantly over the last few years in their businesses, and it's like and I find myself in this space too, and I'm just so glad that I have you, because I do bounce ideas off you, but just being caught in that, like, it's like being in a hull of a business but not knowing what to fill it out with because you can't seem to get there. And I know, like, I don't know what I would have done without you the last 12 months. It's longer than 12 months now. Wow. Yay, anniversary. But like, honestly, it is so helpful. And the sisterhood wound is just so prevalent, so prevalent. It makes me so sad, but it doesn't surprise me at the same time, because we're kind of, and we've spoken about this before on here, but it was pretty much designed to turn women against each other. So now we're here and we're trying to heal it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm so grateful for you too. And I've just noticed such a change in like my own confidence and willingness to share as well. Like we've both experienced the negative side of the sisterhood wound. We both had people steal our products and services. Like we have got stories for days around all of the reasons why you shouldn't trust this community. And I think it's an act of courage to really step out and say, no, I'm going to shift that narrative. I'm going to change that. And I don't want to be a contributing factor towards that. And it's been really beautiful to watch just how quickly we've both evolved, and just watching our businesses kind of expand too. Like nothing will ever prepare you for the messages you get from clients that say like, this was amazing. And it's just so heartwarming. And I don't think you can do that alone. Like we're all in this space together. And whether or not you decide to join us in this container, or maybe you decide to join another community that supports business women, then I wish you all the best. I really, really do. And I hope and I pray that together we can all create a really beautiful, harmonious space for another to thrive in.
Yeah, me too. I always think about how women used to like interact and live, like, way back when, when it was, the women were like back at, whatever sort of environment you were in. But like, if you, for example, I'm just going to use an example, like if we're thinking about, back in the days when women used to stay and like weave together or whatever, or, someone would be like making pottery or like doing something. Everyone had their own craft that they were an expert at. But you would always, like, in things that I've read and things that I've seen and just stories that I've heard, you would always see them coming together and helping each other out. Like someone would drop in and help, their sister weave for, an hour, or go and help, someone else for an hour or so. And it's hard to put that into like a tangible thing that would suit today's day and age. But I feel like we need to take that like that idea, us as women, we need to take that idea of stepping in and actually lifting our sister up in her business as well and helping her and wanting her to prosper, and then apply that to some like degree in this space, because it's crazy. And when people that are new to this space often get such a shock when they realize how like it can be so fucking bitch. It is brutal and so cruel at times. Yeah, we're so ready to change that. Hey, and we're not the only ones. I've seen so many other, well, not so many, a few other people who are actively trying to work towards this as well. And it just makes me so happy, because that is the future. Honestly, that is where the future is at. And that's what we have to work towards if we want to move forward and advance. It's not a comparison or like going head to head with people. It's lifting each other up, because if it's kind of like a mindset, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like you have to acclimate to the mindset of, if my sister isn't doing well, then to some degree that affects me and I'm not doing well either.
Yeah.
It comes back to, love this, it comes back to unity.
We always find a way to loop back around, don't we?
It comes back to unity, and what like Mama Earth represents is that oneness.
Yeah, definitely.
Interconnectedness.
Yeah. And, like, we also have to be really aware of how people are experiencing this spiritual community, because, like, breaking it down, right? This is our livelihood. This is how we are providing for our family. This is how we're working with our purpose. And so if you are seeing other people not working in alignment, then I just want to, I don't know how to say this without like bringing it down, but if
Just
there
so.
are people in the community who are bringing the negative energy into it, you have to realize that we are attached to that on some level. And this isn't like bringing awareness to the fact there is negative energy. It's just bringing your awareness to the fact that you can actually lift the energy even higher, and you can create a much more beautiful experience for people who are coming into this space from a customer kind of point of view. And so creating little pockets of spaces like this that are really intentional about uplifting the energy and creating a safe space for all is overall uplifting the energy of the entire community, and thus creating a much better experience for clients who want to keep coming back, right? So I think it's our responsibility to create a really beautiful environment for not only us to thrive, but everybody else who is within this community too, clients, sisters, like everybody. So I'm excited to see where this goes. And I'm excited to see all of the beautiful women stepping into their purpose and doing the thing. Like that really freaking excites me.
Doing the damn thing.
Doing the damn thing. Yes.
Dyeing their hair copper.
Yeah,
Going on a
literally.
shopping spree.
Exactly.
I'm sure there will be breakthroughs like that.
Yeah. And I hope they're bloody ears, because
Yeah.
I've not had, like, you were talking about how you were having your mini dark night of the soul.
Yeah.
I feel like this was like the opposite end of the spectrum for me. It was like a breakthrough, but created so much more energy and actually like propelled me up. Sometimes with dark nights of the soul, they take you down to like gather
Yeah.
the parts of you that you need to bring back up. And I think it's so crazy how we're on like different polarities.
Yeah.
The
It's
same at the same
great.
time, right?
Yeah. It's so funny. But we always end up, because of that, we always end up kind of supporting each other in like the energy of like speaking of what we're going through,
Yes, literally.
which is so beautiful.
Yeah,
So beautiful. I'm so grateful for you.
me too.
Mm, I think that that's a beautiful note to finish on. What a great chat.
As always. It's just like not broken over like 100 million mini voice notes. Like,
That guys, that was an insight into pretty much 24 hours, the last 24 hours of whenever we're voice noting each other via message. That's what it's like. But funnily enough, that's exactly what it's going to be like for anyone who wants to come and jump into this beautiful relationship that we want to build with you guys through this next step we're going to take. So I'm excited.
Me too.
Oh, thank you, everybody, for listening. It's been beautiful, and we're just so grateful that you guys are showing up and listening and sharing. Thank you to those who consistently share this podcast every week. It honestly means so much to us, sharing it and rating it. And yeah, we're just so grateful. So thank you. If you're new here, you can find us on Anchor, Spotify, and YouTube, and at Divinely Human Podcast on Instagram as well. We'd love to hear from you. If you ever have anything that you would like us to speak about that you think is important and needs to be spoken into, please let us know via our Instagram at Divinely Human Podcast, because we would love to bring that through for you. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, bye guys.
Bye.